Okay, so I think Marilyn will kick off now. So I'm
we
sure
don't have a music license, so I'll definitely turn that off now.
Okay. Okay, so can I just say welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Clive Saunders and I'm the chair of the Watford African Caribbean Association. Tonight we are actually initiating the second of our virtual Black History Month occasions. We've got an exciting program that yet again my colleagues on our steering group have been able to put together to inform, educate, and just hopefully at times lift our spirits as we move forward and hopefully out of this dreadful COVID experience that we've been having. I need to, of course, say as the chair of the Watford African Caribbean Association, it is your association. So if you're not yet a member, please join us. We do have some special guests here with us. So I'd just like to recognize the fact that we've got Aga, the Deputy Mayor, with us, as I think we've had apologies from Peter. I think we've got Asif from the Labour group who's also here with us. As people will know, and I need to emphasize it, we are a non-political organization. We are definitely, well, we're a charitable organization apart from anything else. I was going to say my old friend, but I'm going to say I welcome my long-standing friend Carol Glenn, who is I see in the audience with us, and she's going to be helping us do some things later on. I mean, of course, welcome everybody, but I can't forget my colleague who's coming here and will be talking to us later on when I wear another hat, Dr. Mosen Fopuhunda, who is going to be talking to us in a little while. So I'm not sure I need to say very much more at this point in time because it's not about me. If you don't know, I want to be out of the spotlight very soon. So this is my attempt to start that process. So onwards and upwards. So as we get on with the program, you've seen what we're likely to cover. I'm actually just going to ask Mosen to come and talk to us about the organization that she's a part of, the Association of Black Psychiatrists. And I know she's really wanting to big up our young people and to encourage them to look at these sort of professional careers, such as medicines and other things. So I'm sure Mosen will tell us a bit more about herself and about the association and the message that she wants to share with us on this occasion when, of course, what our theme is building a better future, making a change. So it's really an opportune thing to be hearing about at this point in time. So I'm going to just hand you over to Mosen. Mosen, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
And can you also see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Clive, for that lovely introduction. And I just want to say thank you to the entire membership of the WACA group as well. So my name is Mosen Fopuhunda. I am actually a consultant psychiatrist and I work in Watford. I work with the HPFT. So I am also a member of WACA, and a few of you might have seen me at some of the meetings. So I'm here today to discuss how we can possibly collaborate with WACA through an organization that I am part of. So I am going to share a few slides. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay. Right, so I'm introducing the Association of Black Psychiatrists UK. It was founded in 2020, and we had the inaugural meeting and the celebration of Black History Month in October last year. And the membership of the association is open to all Black psychiatrists in the UK. It's open to psychiatric trainees and medical students with an interest in psychiatry. So our initial aim when we founded this organization was to support the professional development of Black psychiatrists, and it was through education, training, mentoring, and networking, and also to unearth the diverse ideas, experiences, and perspectives to promote innovation and excellence in the delivery of high-quality care for patients with mental illness. Now, there are a few layers of actions on those aims, but I won't bore you with it all today. But since we've been an association for a year, we've recognized the need to broaden our objectives. So if you remember at the beginning, it was to support Black psychiatrists, medical students, those with interest in psychiatry, and also to support our patients with mental illness. But we've realized that we actually are able to support other people. And so we're extending our aims to reaching out to young Black children. And basically it will be to improve their educational outcomes, also to support progression into higher education and workplace. And ultimately it will be aiming to close the educational attainment gap in comparison with other ethnic groups. So I'm just going to show you a few points that were highlighted in the recent House of Commons research. They're not my words, they're what was found in the research. So at GCSE level, young people from Black major ethnic group have the lowest combined English and maths pass rate. And beyond GCSE levels, we are very good at going into higher institutions, but our retention rates at higher institutions are lower, and our degree outcomes are poorer than average. And beyond education, Black graduates are also less likely to be in highly skilled employment or to further their studies. Again, there's lots of layers under these points. We're less likely to rise in our career. We're less likely to have job satisfaction. There's a lot of layers that go with this. So we as an association of Black Psychiatrists UK, we were looking at ways in which we could support young Black children to reduce this gap in employment, gap in educational attainment and the rest of it. Because if we limit our intervention to supporting Black psychiatrists, then you're only supporting those who have made their way through and have become psychiatrists already, or they're already in medical school. There's a need to go back even further to support people from younger ages and lead them into that path. Otherwise, some people were known struggle for whatever reasons. It's a very complex factor. They do struggle to get to where they want to be educationally. So we thought we would have an outreach to schools, we'd try and educate teachers to reduce negative bias. We'll share our personal experiences, we'll try and serve as role models, mentor them, liaise with educational authorities, liaise with Health Education England, offer work experience and clinical attachment. It's little things like that that you find that young children may not have people to support them and just act as that career mentor and opportunity for work experience as well. We're already located in different trusts and we have opportunity to have these people under our wings and mentor them. And then we also talked about collaboration with other organizations, which is why I am having this presentation with WACA this evening. So I've checked the aims of WACA. It's on your website. It's on our website. I'm a member of WACA, I must remember. We aim to use local knowledge and decades of experience to transform the lives of the vulnerable, the elderly, and children, whilst preserving African and Caribbean transitions. Again, there are lots of layers of activities that go on within WACA under that broad heading. And I know that the theme for Black History Month, this month, October 2021 for WACA, is building a better future and making the change. So therefore, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to come and talk to WACA, offer ourselves, and explore how we can work together collaboratively to sort of achieve our mutual aims. So yeah, it's just a brief presentation. It's just to highlight who we are, what we aim to achieve. And also at this stage, it's just throwing it out to the association, WACA, and seeing how we can work collaboratively to improve, obviously, the lives of our young children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mosen. some of you may be aware that we've been building a relationship with the Afro GPs, and we need to build up our connections with our professional colleagues, because actually this role modeling idea is one that's central to how we're going to support our young people to elevate and lift themselves up, so that we can kind of find ourselves in that rightful position in the society that we're in. And actually, if we're not going to put our shoulder to the wheel, then other people are not going to do it for us. So that's the way it is. So thank you very much, Mohsen, for that. I think we certainly want to build that relationship as we go forward. But before we move on, we do have Aga, who I know is representing the mayor. So Aga, did you want to say a minute or so to say anything to meeting with respect to Black History Month?
Clive, thank you very much. I don't want to speak for long, but I just want to recognize and thank for the invitation on behalf of the mayor, on behalf of myself and the whole Watford community. We all know how important is Watford Caribbean Association, how lovely things you are doing in the community all the time, how we are all together, try to understand and make sure that whatever happened in the past, it's never ever repeat. We have so many things to still improve, understand, and make it better. And it's so important that we can talk about it in many aspects. So I'm really pleased to be here tonight. It was lovely and very interesting information. And I think as we are all here tonight, we should build on that and try to help youths to get better education, to have better access, whatever they need, and support them through all the way.
Thank you, Aga. Asif, did you have any messages for us as you're with us too?
Yes, can I thank you and thank the Watford African and Caribbean Association for the work it's doing. And I think it's important that we celebrate the achievements of Black History Month in particular. Not just this month, every day. I think the aspiration that we need to show young people, we need to show every strata of society. I'm a computer scientist by profession. I lecture in it. I've been lecturing in it for the past 20 years. And other than this council malarkey that I get up to. And today I was going through some mathematical formula with my students, and we were focusing on Katherine Johnson and the formula that she was using in trying to get orbits and satellites out of space. And then at the end, I revealed who Katherine Johnson was, and it was absolutely remarkable with these students at a college when they saw it was aspiring and inspired. And these type of examples need to come in and embed within practitioners, whether it's teachers, whether it's counsellors, whether it's doctors, etc. We need to make live and show and mentor people with those examples. And that's where I like that theme that you are having, building a better future. I think that is so important to have those aspirations and show and highlight that there is work and it can be done. And I'm here as a servant to you. So whatever you would like me to do, I'm here. So thank you. Thank you once again.
Oh, and Clive just wants, you might just want to unmute Clive.
Oh yeah. It's still muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I'm going to hand over to Marilyn so she can actually take us through the program. I think I'll probably be dipping in as we go along. So Marilyn and Marcia too can help out with just talking us through what's going to happen. So as we said, we're going to look at some of the things that we're going to be doing. we got a bit of poetry, and then we got a bit more of the program, and then we've got the highlight is Usifu. So Marilyn.
Great, thank you. Lovely to see you all. We were also commenting earlier on that we cannot believe it's been a year already since we did this, and last year was the first time we did the online event. The initial conversation was about, of course, it started off with saying we're going to do it in person. That very quickly, as time rolled on, it became apparent that wasn't going to happen. We had planned then to do one big event, and by the end of the October, we'd done, I've lost count now, I think we did like 6 or 7 last year. And so it's following a similar vein and a similar theme this year. So what I'll very quickly do is just kind of run you through a few of the things that are going to be taking place. And I'm going to do the first half of the month, and where we have those facilitators here, I'm just so that give them a little bit of a warning. I'm also going to be asking if they want to just say a few words about what they're actually going to be doing. So tonight, of course, it's a launch event. And Clive, I'm going to come back to you for this one, because I know on the 6th of October we've got the audience with Noah Kiandama. So do you want to say a few words about what that will be? So that's the first big event that we've got coming up, which is Wednesday the 6th of October. So a few words from you, Clive, about that one.
Okay, I'll try and keep it. Am I still? I'm not muted, am I? No, I'm not. Okay, so thank you for that, Marilyn. So on the 6th of October is our first, well, actually, there is an event happening tomorrow. And
you did say that one wasn't certain. There were things up in the air. So I think probably we'll come back to that one when you've got more details.
We'll come back. So on the 6th, because we've circulated in the details regarding this, we've got a local writer whose name is Noah Kendama, who has been known to us for very many years. He worked he's a former teacher, and he's written a couple of books where he's kind of he's kind of delved into the field of conceptions of African politics, and he's got some ideas around that. But we're going to talk to him. We're going to have an audience with him where he'll talk about that, and he'll talk about how he's got his ideas, and they'll talk about his vision around a different sort of Africa, one that's not downtrodden by colonialism and all of that. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation to kick off that bit of our program. So if you can, please join. What we'll probably do is put the details in the chat so that people can get the link to take away if you've not already got it. So probably enough to said at this point in time, because when you come along on Wednesday, and I know some people have already accepted this, you'll find that it's going to be well worth your while. So that's on Wednesday, the 6th.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. And also with regards to this, one of the things that people found last year, they were a little bit reticent in terms of doing the events online, and the feedback was absolutely amazing for every single event. So my suggestion is, if you are free, do something a little bit different, even if it doesn't sound like your cup of tea, or in my dad's case, a pint of special brew. I would definitely say come along. So the next one that we're going to be doing, and we're looking, because we wanted to cover all aspects. So education is a big part of that. Health is another big conversation in the Black community. And prostate cancer is one that many of us have, and my dad passed away as a result of prostate cancer, gosh, 10 years ago now. And so on Sunday, the 10th of October, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., there is going to be a prostate cancer awareness event. So Zora, can I hand over to you, please, to say a few words about that one? Let me just check. I'm pretty sure Zora has been here. Oh, there we go. You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, okay. So thanks very much for inviting me and allowing me to be almost an honorary member of the WACA group, because as you know, I'm not a local girl. I live some miles away up in the Midlands. But anyway, thank you very much. And in terms of what I'll be sharing on behalf of the programme this month. I'll be involved in a number of things. My background is as a clinical practitioner, and I've been doing it for just under 40 years now. And certainly you talked about your father passing away as a result of getting prostate cancer. And I felt it was quite important to use this platform to raise the awareness and dispel some of the myths, because I know that the men in our community are absolutely hopeless at coming forward. So I thought, let's just dispel some of the myths. Let's just see if we can support them in identifying some of the key features that might arise. I'll be doing it alongside this event on the, you'll have to remind, is it the 17th?
So the event that we're talking about now, this is the one that is taking place on Sunday, the 10th of October.
Yeah, thank you. I do apologise. I will be there. And what we've done, we've invited a chap called Errol McKellar, and he's doing incredible things in the community for the Black community. He himself was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and as a mechanic, he used the opportunity to invite men who were coming along to his what do you call these where mechanics in his garage. Thank you. I was going to say his studio, but it's not a studio. Thank you. And he was using the opportunity to tell them about prostate cancer, the guys who were turning up, and he has managed to save at least 48 lives up till now. So along with a local GP, we're going to be looking at that event. Following on from that is another event.
Hang on a second, we've got an order, Azora.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, thank you. That's just about that event. So if you are free, or if you've got any concerns, quite often it's the ladies in the men's life who often instigate and encourage their husbands to go and be seen. So if it's something that you are concerned about and you want to encourage your young man to be tested, do come along. You'll find the event very informative.
Thank you so much, Zora. Really, really appreciate it. And Eva, I can see you've got your hand up. So after we've done this little segment, we're definitely coming to questions. So I will come back to you in a few moments. That is amazing. In terms of the next live event that we're going to be doing, it will be taking place on Monday, the 11th of October, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. And all of these are on Zoom. All of them are online. Some of the links will be appearing in the chat. And when you're putting the links in the chat, if you could say which event it relates to, unless we're using the same link all the time, that would be fantastic. And so we're going to be doing sitting down and having a conversation with a Black author. And we're going to be speaking on this occasion on the Monday to Pamela R. Haynes. So she's an ex-probation officer and an award-winning writer. And it's a fictional story. It's based around her book called Loving the Brothers. However, it is drawn from her years of working in the probation service and also her years of working with people who were in one of the strands is abusive relationships. And so the premise of the book focuses on 3 women who married 3 brothers, and they're all plotting and planning to leave their abusive partners. And so it takes us on a journey of the backstory of that. And when you read the book, and what I've asked her to do also is do an extract and a reading from the book. So she's going to choose the passages that she wants to read. And the plan is then we'll also have some Q&A and discussion around this, because as I said, although it's a fictional book, it is based partly drawn from real life events. And when you read the book, you always feel like you're back in the Caribbean sometimes in terms of the narrative, the way that she writes, the language that she uses. So that's going to be a really, really lovely event and an opportunity to sit down with the author. She also has a podcast, because one of the things that she's recognized is that many of us have a story. We haven't shared that story. And so she wants to encourage others to become writers. So if you have aspirations for getting a book out there, please also do come and join us for that one. And then we are moving to, and Clive, I think I'm going to be coming back to you for this one. on Thursday, the 14th of October, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m, looking at mental health and well-being in the African and Caribbean communities in Hertfordshire. And so do you want to say a little bit about that, Clive, and Patrick Vernon, who will be there as well?
Yes, well, actually, another one of our stars who will be there too is Mosun, who is actually with us today. But so basically what's happening on the 14th, we have 3 organizations, which is ourselves. We have HPFT, which is the Hertfordshire Partnership University NHS Foundation Trust, and we have Viewpoint, which is the mental health charity across Hertfordshire. And we are going to be using the opportunity to shine a light on mental health and well-being in our community across the county. And what we want to do is to share some information that we'll be able to share from that kind of a data perspective on the state of our mental health in Hertfordshire. We want to look at the experiences that we have as a community, and this is across the community. That includes people who are service users, that includes people who are carers, and that includes just the community as a whole. So our mental well-being is something that we've got to take very seriously indeed. So we want to actually use that opportunity to consider what needs to change to ensure that the kind of services that we're accessing is actually accessible to us. And so it is a really important conversation for us to have. This event is one where we've set up an Eventbrite link for people to register on. So we've got Patrick Vernon, as Marilyn has said, who is actually well known in the field of mental health. He's just recently joined HPFT as one of their non-executive directors. We have a couple of service users, and we have Mosun, who is here, who is a psychiatrist, as you would have gathered, who is going to be talking about these issues. And it's really about community engagement in our mental well-being. So there's more information on the Eventbrite site, but please spread the word, and we will hopefully have a great evening, but not just a great evening, the beginning of let's say an initiative that will increase and improve our access to the very best quality services that's available around our mental well-being.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. And we're going to go into a piece of poetry in a few moments, so you can start queuing that up, Clive. And just to say, James, if you're there, I've sent you a message. Can you have a look, please? Because in the next segment, if you say yes, I'll be calling on you, but you don't have to say yes. So check the messages. I'll be popping back because that will be the start of the next segment that I'm going to talk about in terms of what's happening at the Watford Palace Theatre. But Clive, I will now hand over to you and to Enid, who is coming at us for this part remotely. So this is a pre-recorded segment of a poem. So I will hand over to you, Clive.
Thanks, Marilyn. Enid, did you are happy for me to do the recording rather than you speaking? And okay, Enid is on the call.
Yes,
Okay.
Go ahead with the recording, please.
Okay, let me turn the volume up so that everybody can hear.
And also just one thing, if you're not speaking, can you mute your microphones just so we don't get any background noise? Thank you.
Okay, here we are. So I've started recording. Okay. So okay, so this is a poem from Enid. So I'm going to hand over to you, Enid. Thank you very much for doing this. Over to you.
This poem called Sunrise is from a holiday in 17 that I went to Mauritius, and it was absolutely wonderful. My daughter has a way when she thinks that I've done enough, she phones up, Mom, I booked your holiday and we're going, get yourself ready. And this poem was from such an incident. I walk along the beach, it's peaceful. I feel the warm sand on my bare feet. It imparts my memories of my childhood. The flora and fauna takes me back in time. I see the vine growing on the sand. As a child, we used it as a skipping rope. The waves lap the seashore. For some time, I stand and watch my surroundings. The sky paints a picture. Clear blue patches overshadowed by white clouds, some turning gray. Behind the red blazon, and the dawn is pronounced by the red ball dancing amongst the various colored clouds. The sun is rising, bringing in a new day filled with promises and hope.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Enid. That's it. Thank you. Let's just come out of that now. Let's stop sharing. So, right. Okay. So, I think questions now. Is it Marilyn?
Yes, that is correct. If anyone has any questions, anything they wanted to raise about what they've heard so far, if you have any questions for Dr. Mosen, I certainly have one if you haven't. So if anyone has anything that they want to share now, Eva, let me just check and see if your hand is still raised. Joe, you've also got your hand raised. I'm just going to whiz through. Can't see. Let me just check on the. So yeah, if you have a question, so Eva, if you're still here, I cannot see you on my list. Oh yes, I can. Well, I can see. No, I can't. So I can't see. But Joe, did you have a question? Your hand was raised.
Can I just interrupt, Marilyn? Sorry, but Eva has left a message in the chat. I'll just find it. She said that the event is still going on tomorrow at West Herts College. She apologises for not getting the information to Clive sooner. She said the event has a lot of support from the community as well as various leaders. It starts at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at West Herts College. Parking is free. So the event is going ahead tomorrow, 2 o'clock start.
What's the event, Marcia? It doesn't. What's the event?
Oh, hang on, it's on my phone. Hold on. She just sent it to the group. It is. Oh gosh, hold on. Sorry, everyone. Can't find it. It is community engagement Q&A with the Mayor of Watford, the MP Dean Russell, and Councillor Nigel Bell, who's a spokesman for Children and Family Service. So she's going to have, I think this came from another event that she had where people had questions and she wanted to the questions answered. So they've agreed to this event. So that's it. That's all I can tell you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And if there's anything you do want to put in the chat about it, then feel free to do that also. That'd be wonderful. And Joe, did you have something that you wanted to throw into the mix?
No, I was clapping. I was using the clapping function because I enjoy Enid's poem.
Wonderful. I must have just glanced at it when I just saw the hands on the screen. And just and Dr. Mosen, this is probably too big a question for us to go into now. But when we see you again, one of the things I would really like to delve into a little bit more deeply is the Sewell report, because there were very clear indications in that report that education was not being impacted. There was nobody being held back. Everyone has an equal playing field. So if you've read the report, that will be interesting. And you might probably heard about it, but it's spelt Sewell for people who might have seen it. But I would love to hear, maybe not today, but in a future event, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that one.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be happy to come back and have a discussion.
Just in relation to that, Marilyn, and most may or may not remember, actually, we, in the organization that we both work for, we did have a conversation touching on a report that really isn't worth talking about, but we still talk about it. And I can't talk about it because, quite frankly, it's something that we should put in the garbage bin. But I'm afraid because it influences people like our Equalities Minister, not being political, then maybe we do need to talk about it from time to time.
Well, yeah, thank you. So that was just one of the thoughts. So anyone else, if there's anyone else who has anything you'd like to share, any comment, please feel free to unmute your microphone. We'd love to hear from you before we go on to the next segment and walk you through what we have coming up next. And while we're doing that, also what I wanted to say, Arga, of course, she wasn't talking about this particular subject, but one of the things that Arga has been doing for her own community is running a Saturday school. Now, Arga, if you're still, I think you're still here, can you just tell us how long that school has been running, please?
I started the school 12 years ago. I'm a founder and a trustee right now. It's been a really successful story. Every Saturday, we have 300 children. The children are the age from 3 years old till 18. We're starting classes from nursery all the way up to A-level. At some point, Clive, we joined that journey together, did we? It's lovely. It's absolutely wonderful.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for that, because one of the big kind of conversations we had, and this started last year, was most definitely talking about children, the next generation and education. So 12 years consistently every Saturday, take my hat off to you. And I know that Clive, and you'll be meeting Khadija during Black History Month. She's one of the products of Clive's Saturday school that was started, but thank you so much for that. Claire, over to you.
Oh, hello. I just wanted to thank Enid for the beautiful poem. That was so lovely. Especially on such a dark night. I just really wanted to say thank you. That's it.
Oh, thank you, Claire. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, Enid, it was beautiful. And I was like, whoa, I want to get one of those phone calls where somebody says, pack your bags, we're off. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Claire, for sharing that. And Asif, over to you.
Very quick, thank you. And you mentioned these events. Is it possible to just share those? Is there a website, or you've got the dates and so on? So just to sharing those dates so I can myself just share to a wider audience as well.
Wonderful. And I believe, and Joe, jump in if I'm speaking out of term, I believe we're going to be using the same website that we used last year. It's just that last minute thing of getting them populated, getting them up on the website. So we set one up last year. I think it was, I'm going to find the link. If we're using the same link, I will grab the link in our next segment once we started. I'll put that into the chat and that will be the place to go. But brilliant question, Asif, because we had the same question offline before we started today. So thank you so much for that. Joe, let me just tell me if I've said anything out of turn. Are we using the same website?
We are, yeah. So I think we'll be using the WAC website as well, but for Black History Month, so it's watfordblackhistorymonth.co.uk. I've not actually updated it. I need to do that first thing tomorrow morning. I meant to do it last night, but I was working. But it will happen very shortly. It will be updated and populated with all these wonderful events that we're going to be having.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And loving the cat. So
me too.
Wonderful. So yeah, I will drop that link into the chat and watch this space. It will be there. So I don't think we've got anyone else at this juncture. So what we will do is we will move back to
Marilyn, sorry to interrupt. Caroline Buxton's just put a hand up.
Wonderful. Go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to say I enjoyed Enid's poem very much. Well done, Enid. And an address to Asif as well. I was quite impressed, Asif, that you raised Miss Johnson's achievements with her calculations and the space program. And I just wondered, Asif, one of the things that sort of bugs me as a mathematician, can you sort of explain to me why is it that that Pythagoras has been attributed with the theorem when the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, was built more than 2,000 years or thereabouts before the birth of Pythagoras, and the formula was known about. So even though it may not have been written down, the Egyptians and oh dear, it's gone from me, and others around that area used it, certainly before Pythagoras, because as you see, the pyramid is certainly the testament to what existed before the birth of Pythagoras.
Can I answer that briefly? It's a fabulous question. I would simply say there's a colonization of education, and the victors usually write history, and also victors will determine how education is taught. And that's something which we need to be clear about. And as someone who's been teaching for over 20 years now, I try to put in, well, not try, I do insert evidence from other cultures and civilizations and how actually it is developed. So it's a long question, but it just needs that our education system does need an injection of reality and what actually has happened. Chemistry, what the Arabs and Muslims had done, the African civilization, how it impacted our education, it's all missing. And I think it's one of those points, I'm not going to go into it, it's a topic in itself, but it's something as practitioners we need to push.
I'm pleased to hear you said that you go some way to address it by informing your children that Pythagoras was not the inventor, that other civilizations were using it as well. I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you.
Wonderful. That is a fantastic question, and lovely to see you, Carol Ann. And it's so strange. About 3 hours before this, I had a conversation with someone about the ancient Egyptians, talking about the Book of the Dead and how it has informed so much of our culture, but you don't really hear about those links and connections. So I love this. Now, be careful, Asif, because the way that this often unfolds is that we have these little side conversations and they turn into whole full-blown events. So watch the, be careful as you volunteer good information, because somebody might come and tap you on the shoulder and say it would be a great wider discussion to have. So thank you for that, both of you, Asif and Carol Ann, for a fantastic contribution. And Marcia, also please feel free, because I've just got the little mini view, so please feel free if at any point somebody does raise their hands or put something into the chat that you want to contribute, happy for you to chime in and let me know. So next segment, and this and we're going to just do very quickly the latter half of this month. There's an event that I'm really, really excited about, and this is involving the Watford Palace Theatre. So this is on Saturday, the 16th of October. Let me just see if we've got the timing in. I haven't put the timings in yet. However, we're going to be doing a film screening of I Am Not Your Negro. Now, we have our representatives who have been super supportive over the years. And so I'm going to be handing it now over, because I've had my message back saying, yes, it's okay to chime in. I'm going to hand you over to James from the Watford Palace Theatre. James, I know that you're still just doing the final setup for this, but anything you want to share about it and also what you're doing for Black History Month, we would absolutely love to hear from you. So over to you, James.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Marilyn. And can I just say, beautiful poem, Enid, and Joe, gorgeous cat. Absolutely beautiful cat, who seems to be really enjoying the event too. So that's great. Yeah, so we're screening I Am Not Your Negro on the 16th of October, which, if for those of you who don't know, it's a film about the writings and ideas of James Baldwin. It came out in 2016. It's narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, and it looks at the kind of history of racism and the Black civil rights movement in the US. And we're going to be having a chaired discussion after the event, talking about various things, I think, talking about obviously the American context of the film, but also relating it to what's happening in the UK, and also looking at the figure of James Baldwin as well. He's a very kind of influential writer and thinker. So we're really looking forward to welcoming people to the theatre for the screening on the 16th of October. And there's kind of other programming and things that are all sort of currently happening and live, as it were, but we'll be sort of putting details up on the website. So do check up on the website. It will be going on sale in the next few days. And obviously we'll add it to the Watford Black History Month website as well, with all the listings of all the amazing events that are happening this month. Thank you.
And I know people know of the theatre, but do you want to just tell us the website, just in case somebody's watching this, they haven't frequented it for a while and they might not live in the area but might want to come in?
Brilliant, absolutely. Yeah, we're www.watfordpalacetheatre.co.uk. Yeah, there's lots of things happening. I'm about to go into rehearsals for pantomime. Oh, yes, I am. So there's always lots happening at the theatre. And yeah, if you want to follow us on socials as well, we're on most socials. I think we're at Watford Palace, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you and love to see you and come along and yeah, check out some of the things that the theatre are doing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, James, and really, really brilliant to see you. And thank you also for the wonderful support. That is amazing. I'm going to kind of bundle the next two events into one because these both involve Clive. Just so you know, Clive, I'm coming to you next. So there is on the Wednesday. So hold on. Let me just get my screen back. Let me just do a quick refresh. There we go. So we have that the 17th, sorry, I'm going to go to Zora next. So 17th of October, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are looking at the andropause, which is the male menopause and midlife crisis. So Zora, I know this is potentially a somewhat controversial topic because I did an event last year where you were speaking about this. Do you want to say a few words about this and perhaps for people who haven't heard of the andropause before?
Before she comes in, briefly, just to say that I think Khadija can talk about the other item rather than me. So, Zora.
Okay, thanks, Marilyn. Following on from last year where I talked at length about the menopause, I felt it was only right and fair that we address the issues that men some men, I should say, how they experience what is termed as a midlife crisis. Now, there is actual evidence, clinical evidence, to suggest that there are features that men go through that affect them hormonally. It manifests itself as a midlife crisis. And I'll be holding an event where I'll be talking about it in some detail. So if you're a man who's struggling with various emotional issues or physical ones and you want to know a little bit more, do come along.
Thank you so much. That will be amazing. And it does, just to say, goes beyond getting a Harley Davidson or a fast car. You know.
Yes, or even a gold medallion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Zora. Really looking forward to that. So I'm sure, Khadija, you've been listening.
She may have left. Sorry, she may have left. I think she said she had to leave. Are you still with us, Khadija?
She may not be.
No, she texted you or she told me she had to leave.
Yes, she did say she had to leave early.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay,
So, Clive, do you want to talk about the next two events, one of which is on the 19th of October, so that's the Black Lives Matters 401 years later, and then on the 20th, you've got the WACA Board of Directors.
Okay.
So I'll hand over to you.
So, the board meeting now, let me just say, is just a board meeting of the WACA board. So there is not much more to say regarding that. That's just the board members who attend that meeting. On the 19th, some of you may recall that over a year ago, we had these big issues emanating from the death of George Floyd and so on and so forth. And there's been a big debate, and it continues. I was even in a conversation this week where this issue around Black Lives Matter came up. And let me just be clear that to me, there's this idea that we associate BLM, as some people call it, as something that is an organizational thing. The fact is, there's some of us who have been involved in campaigning and working to get to a point where a Black life is as important as any other life. And we haven't got there yet. So actually, forget about movement and so on. We are concerned that actually our life should be as important as anyone else. So we want to explore that and look at where we go with this, particularly looking at the impact of COVID and how we move forward with this agenda. And that agenda has got to be about making sure that our life is as important as any other. So that, and we say unapologetically, Black Lives Matter. And if people don't like it, that's their lookout, because actually until our lives matter as much as anyone else's, we'll continue to say Black Lives Matter, and we're far away from that. So please join us for that debate, because it's all of us in this together.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. And I think the analogy that I often use and have been using for many years, if I go to a rally to say, let's support the dolphins and let's save the dolphins, it doesn't mean I don't like the whales. I have nothing against hamsters or rabbits. It just happens that in that moment, the dolphins are in danger. So that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm sure that will be a really fascinating and lively discussion. We then come to now, I know that Carol Glenn is actually here. So Carol, if you did want to say a few words, that would be amazing. But we're now moving to Thursday, the 21st of October. Again, it's going to be 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. And we're looking at sports and motor racing. And Carol, your background is really, really fascinating. So if you wanted to say a few words, yes, you have unmuted. Wonderful.
Yes.
I will hand over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Clive, for inviting me and to the rest of the team. Yes. Some of you may already have heard about me, that I'm the first Black female official in motorsport, and you can go look on my website on nrgmotorsport.co.uk to get some more information. But I'm very proud to launch this event in Black History Month in association with Watford Afro-Caribbean Association, where I'm going to have an audience with, and a lot of people will obviously be aware of Sir Lewis Hamilton. But they may not realise that actually there was a lot of other Black race drivers around, going back to the 60s, 70s and 80s. And I'm slowly tracking them down, and I'm trying to create some sort of a timeline where and have it set that we can, people can go and find out about these ex-drivers. And so you will all be part of the inaugural one to hear from a driver called Tony Chambers, who was sponsored by the Hot Chocolate team back in the day, Hot Chocolate group back in the day. Another guy called Winston Graham and Clive Anderson. So I'm going to have the three of them on, and they're going to all give a little bit of history about the fact, Tony, for example, raced with people like Martin Brundle and other people who've now gone on, and then they didn't. So we can ask them, they'll tell you about what happened, and hopefully we'll have some Q&A as well. But I'm very, very excited. And I'm hoping, although it will be going out by Zoom, I'm trying to see if I can get hold of Silverstone Museum, so we can actually have all three of them there and have the interview with them all in place, or somewhere else. We're going to try and find a venue so we can have them all together. So when you see them, they'll all be together with a good backdrop, and cause a bit of atmosphere. But I'm very, very excited, and I hope we'll get lots of people tuning in.
Oh my goodness, Carol, I cannot begin to tell you. I was a massive fan back in the Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello, Mika Hakkinen days. That's when I used to watch religiously, and Sundays were off limits. I'm not talking, I'm not answering the phone, I'm not going anywhere. So I am really, really looking forward to that one. And I'm really glad that you said you can open the doors to the conversations about what happened in terms of career progression, etc., what it was actually like. I know in terms of sports, we hear a lot from people like John Barnes, for example. Yes. We hear a lot from the cricketers who are now starting to speak up from the West Indies team. But man, I'm looking forward to this one. So thank you so much for being here, and really thank you for agreeing to do the session. Really look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Seriously, this is going to be amazing. And I know by now you're like, don't even tell me the date or the time, just put it on the website. It will all be on the website, but I'm just saying it for the purposes of the recording. So and we've got 5 more left, just so we can, just to put it into context, and then we move to our entertainment portion, where you all just sit back and relax, and the entertainer that we have for you is absolutely spectacular if you've never heard him before. So Zora, I'm quickly coming back to you, because on Saturday the 23rd of October, from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. oh my gosh, we're doing the Soul to Soul Connection, which I believe is about relationships.
Yes, thank you. I do feel as if I'm monopolising the Black History Month a little bit and popping up almost every week. But yes, this just to sort of give my my company, it's the latest venture I have set up. I set it up earlier on this year, mid COVID, and it's really about an organisation that is known as a bespoke introduction service, allowing melanin-rich men and melanin-rich women to meet each other. It's a tailored service where people contact me from either sex, from the African or African Caribbean community, and using various tools and a one-to-one meeting with me, I end up matching them with other individuals on my database. So it is not a dating service, it's a bespoke introduction service. And there is a difference between the two, in so much as what I do in my service is very much tailored. It doesn't use computerized algorithms or anything like that. It's good old-fashioned one-to-one connection or introduction of individuals who I believe, following quite a detailed chat and the use of various tools, they are matched. So it's early days for us. We only launched at the end of July, so we're in our second or third month now. August, September, yeah, we're in our third month and we're growing. So yes, I'm opening the floor to individuals who are desperate in our community to find love and want to know more about how we go about it.
Woohoo, thank you so much. I love it, love it, love it. Wonderful. So lots to get our teeth into there. And I think one of the things, just to give you the heads up, Zora, that I really want to discuss there is the stereotypical Black family. I think that's definitely worth a few questions. So I'll hold those until that night, but I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Now, coming to the end of the month, we've got the 26th of October, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. This one, we're still kind of formulating the idea, but in a nutshell, very quickly, it's about the idea of governance. How do you get people more involved in, for example, being a councillor? So for those who don't know, I stood for election in May of this year and was elected as one of the councillors for what we call Central Ward here in Watford. There's also the question, how do you become a school governor so that you can get more involved in the lives of your children? How do you become a magistrate so you get involved in the legal processes? So the plan here is to bring people from different fields and have them just talk about almost the day in the life of, to give you a flavor of the role, what it's all about, how you can get involved, and maybe inspire people to take that next step. Clive, is there anything you wanted to add to that one?
Marilyn, you always place me in this position where there's nothing that I can say. You've said it all.
That's fine. I'm not trying to drop you in it. I'm like, you might have some extra words to add. That's absolutely fine.
No, I mean, I think that what I would say, these processes are the processes that actually impacts on us quite significantly. Even if you think about something like policing, we now have police and crime commissioners who then dictate what goes on. If we are not engaged in the process that influences those people, if we're not getting into becoming school governors, being where these decisions have been made, then actually we're not there to look after our own interests, and we're leaving our interests to other people. And it's just like the professional stuff that Mohsen was talking about. We've got to be represented and present in all of these different arenas. And we may not always like it, but we need to be there and to be our authentic self when we're there. So that actually we have to do it in a way that actually allows us to make an impact, rather than, so it's not about rabble rousing and making a lot of noise and actually not making a difference. Ultimately, we want to uplift our community, and we've got to be in those places where we can help to do that. Okay.
Beautifully said, Clive. There were plenty of words there, so thank you. And one of the things you might get now, the gist of how this rolls, we have a really fun time with these events. We're often talking about serious subjects, but the dynamic of the group is such that it's also very, very good fun being at these events. Now, I don't believe we have Amadou with us, so what's going to be happening, and so that event, Tuesday 26th of October, 7 till 8 p.m. On Wednesday the 27th of October, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. we have Amadou, and this is it's a working title, but it's about your finances. Clive?
He did send me some information, which I shall just look, best if I share it with people. Sorry, bear with me a second, please. Let me just find the information. Hamadou. Essentially, it's around financial basics is what he's seeking to do. Too many emails have come in today, so okay, bear with me. So actually, he wants to. Are you interested in how to understand and effectively use a number of financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing? Financial literacy underpins our relationship with money, which is a lifelong journey. It allows one to make informed and effective decisions with their financial resources. Awareness of essential financial concepts lets people know how to find their way within the financial system. The objective of this session is to enable one to make better financial decisions and to manage their finances well. It's going on to say to you what I would say to you. Clearly, it's not one of those really important tools that we need because quite often we don't, and this across communities, not necessarily something that just something that we have an issue with, but financial management is really critical at the end of the day if we are going to succeed. And so please do come along if you are able to that session.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. And the penultimate session, we're now on the 30th, and then we'll just have the 31st of October. This one I am so totally looking forward to as well. It is the Rapper's Delight Hip Hop Cookbook Kitchen live stream. That's a mouthful. So Joe is going to host this. There's going to be a live DJ. Joe's going to be taking us through some recipes. So Joe, over to you to put this one into context. Tell us a bit more about it and tell us about your book.
Yeah, so some of you may already know that I co-authored a cookbook a number of years ago with some friends, celebrating the parallels between food and music, and there's artwork in the book as well. So for this event, it's trying to do it as a bit of a party. So I've roped one of my friends into DJ, and then I'll try and cook some food in the kitchen. We'll have some friends around, and we'll live stream it, and I'll try and explain. The idea is I'll try and explain the recipe and some of the context. So potentially some of the history with the music, but also just have a good time. That's the idea. So yeah, it'd be really great if people want to join in. Yeah, that's what I need to say, isn't it?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Joe. I love it. I love it. And I say on many of my bios when I'm out and about speaking that I've been using music therapeutically since 1975. That's not a typo. I actually do mean 1975. And I also love food. And I always say, look, I love eating. I'm not interested in cooking. So I'm going to enjoy watching you, Joe, and vicariously living through that experience. So thank you so much. And also thank you, just while you're here, for all of the work you do behind the scenes, all of the technical stuff, the Google Doc, the website. We really appreciate it.
Marlon, I think you can't let Joe off so easily because he's got to talk about the quiz now, not me. So.
Oh yeah, well actually, okay, so on the Sunday we've got the quiz. So Clive always does the really difficult questions, and then I do the silly questions that are really easy but less sensible. And I think if you want to try and get ahead and be in a good chance of winning, the quiz from last year that we did is still on the website, the video for it. So you could revise. I mean, the questions are going to be different, but the format and the kind of yeah, you can get an idea of what kind of questions to be expecting. But it should be good fun. I mean, basically, it's kind of like a pub quiz. We'll do it over Zoom. And it should be good fun. Learn a bit about Black history and also have a good time. So what's not to love?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And that final quiz is on the 31st of October at 7 p.m. It was absolutely brilliant last time. And also just to say the Rapper's Delight is in the afternoon. That's 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 30th of October. So that's it for the overall programme. unless anyone has any burning questions, we will go to the final segment. And I think on this one, I'm going to be handing back to Clive to say a few words about what's going to be coming up with this, and our final closing words, and then the edutainment from Usifu. So if there are no burning questions, Clive, I will hand it back to you.
Well, let's see if we can find any burning questions, because I've just Usifu is setting up, so he tells me. So he's going to be with us in a moment. But there are some people who have just joined us. Well, actually, let me just say a few words by way of trying to end the formalities, and then sorry. Sorry, did anyone having a burning question?
No.
Sorry, let's not take that call just now.
Caroline has her hand up.
Yes, Caroline. Caroline?
She's trying to unmute. How'd you do that then?
Yeah, okay, I'm here. Okay. I'm not sure whether my question or statement will be relevant at this point, but you can always say address it another time. Yeah. And I didn't hear the beginning, so I think I've figured out pretty much what it was. But anyway, I have a list here which every now and again I update, and I wondered, I do it for myself, but I wondered whether it might be useful either for the Wednesday Club or for anybody who would like to pass it on to children so they can research various people and the histories and the contribution of these Black people to our civilization.
Caroline, send it through to us. I'm sure. I don't want to be, I don't want to say very much because it may not come to anything, but we are in some conversations that may or may not result in if somebody's going to lead on this, not me, because I mean, I'm lead out, as it were, around development of some stuff with our young people, because really it's always remain important, is always going to be important, but we need to actually have the resource to actually make sure that happens. And there's a bit of conversation which we need to facilitate around that. So, but in any event, we can make use of that kind of information. Okay. So share it with us.
Scan an email to you?
Yes, please. Please do. Just to, before Usifu joins us, a few words then. First of all, thank you all for joining this evening. I mean, it's going to be an hectic and difficult month. It clearly is an even more advanced program that we're putting on this year than was the case last year. And part of that is down to the technology that allows us to meet in a way that doesn't incur any additional cost. Because, of course, we're a charity which doesn't really get any funding to speak of, so it's really about self-help. But I mean, thank you to all those people contributing to the events during the month. I think I've got to say a particular thank you to, and we haven't done it all yet, but to our superb steering group that we have. I mean, we have a core group, should I say, and we work together brilliantly. I have, when we talk about being able to achieve without a lot of resources, I think we are one of the most successful group of people that you could find who's been able to, what's the saying that you can almost get blood out of stone? So thank you all for what you have done. I say Usifu is joining us, so that's good. So it's been great. And we've got much more to do. As you know, what we're looking at, we're now not talking about Black History Month, we're talking about Black history. Because as we all know, I mean, our life is important every day of the year, not just in 1 year, 1 week or 1 day, 1 month. So we're actually looking at what we can do throughout the year, and we're looking at how we can, as we say, as the motto of the organization, together achieve. Together we can achieve. I mean, Barack Obama said, yes, we can, didn't he? And we've been saying that for years. Yes, we can achieve, but we just have to recognize and come together to do that. We have too many people who will say a lot, but not do very much. And actually what I love about the group of people we've been working with is that actually, yeah, we talk a lot, but we do a lot. So I look forward to seeing people participating in these events, because really without your involvement, without you spreading the word and getting people involved, the benefits will not be as would not spread as wide as it should, and we need everybody to be able to join in with these activities. And thank you, Mohsen. Is Mohsen still with us?
Sorry, Clive.
Yes, Pearline.
Sorry, can I just ask Caroline a question? It's Caroline really. Caroline, you know the book, The Real McCoy, the book that has the list all the very first inventors, Black inventors.
Yes.
I had a copy of that book and I've mislaid it, and I've been trying to Google it to find it on Amazon, but it's coming up with lots of McCoy, but it's not the book I'm looking. You know the book I'm talking about, because we talked about it some time ago.
Yeah, I have. I don't know if it's the same one. But it's about great.
Sorry, Caroline. I mean, I think that conversation we probably just need to.
No, I just want to ask her so she can text me and we talk about it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk with you about it.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Because I'm conscious that Usifu has joined us. Usifu, you're with us? He was with us a moment ago.
He's right here.
Okay. All right, okay. Some of the people here have not encountered you before. Usifu is a superb edutainer. This is the third time he's come to engage with us, and it has been riveting on each and every one of those occasions. So Usifu, welcome again. If you're ready, we're going to hand over to you now, because I think we're going to end the formalities and I say thank you everybody for joining in tonight, and I'm going to hand over to Usifu.
Nagutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang. Nagutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang. Hey, mabuguma manam pati, mabuguma yari pati, kere mabuguma bago. Sarapite patigiling, sarapite patigiling. Hey, nagutoik pandang, hey, Marilyn Devonish, nagutoik padalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, Marcia Johnson, nagutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, Pearline McFarlane, nagutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, Carol Glenn, gutoik pandabalang, John Innes, Joe Innes, nagutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, gutoik pandabalang, Asif Khan, mabugumama ng pati, Claire Davies, mabugumayari pati, Dr. Musum Fapo, nabugumama pati, kere mabugumabago, sarapiteng patigiling, sarapiteng patigiling, and I'm sure Zora Johnson is thinking now, what is he talking now about? What is this is he coming up with now? I am sure, Zora, I can see it in your face. That's exactly what you're saying right out there. That's what you're thinking. I know. As for you, Carol Ann Buxton. I know you're wondering, what language has he come up with this time? What is the matter with this man? What is this? And we can't even see his face, and he's talking over there. Jasmine Richards, and you, Colette Dennis, all of you. Now hang on a second. Asif, where is Asif? How come I cannot see Asif's face? Let me check. Now go toik pandabalang, mabuguma manampati, mabuguma yari pati, kere mabuguma bago, sarapite patigile, sarapite patigile. Toy pandabalang. Now toy pandabalang. Mabuguma manapati, mabuguma yari pati, kere mabuguma bago. Sarapite patigile, sarapite patigile. Now, I want to see if every one of you can join me. Like this. Now, if you think you can dance, you can groove, you know, don't be shy. I know many of you out there, you're ready to get up and calypso right now. Toy pandabalang. Mabuguma manapati, mabuguma yari pati, kere mabuguma bago. Sarapite patigile, sarapite patigile. Karimiaki golden state market, natakwati unsel. Karimiaki golden state market, natakwati unsel. Oh, what a night, not a bite. What a Saturday night. Lord, what a night, not a bite. What a Saturday night. Come on. Karimiaki golden state market, natakwati unsel. Karimiaki golden state market, natakwati unsel. So, oh, what a night, not a bite. What a Saturday night. Lord, what a night, not a bite. What a Saturday night. Say, today we're taking it from the Caribbean and then we'll come over to Africa later on. So, here we go. Oh. So, Ilangoli ride on, Ilangoli ride on, Ilangoli. Then we bend down, low down, Ilangoli. Then we low down, bless it down, Ilangoli. Say we better mind you tumble down, Ilangoli. Oh, Ilangoli rider, Ilangoli. Ilangoli rider, Ilangoli. Then we bend down, low down, Ilangoli. Then we low down, bless it down, Ilangoli. Say we better mind you tumble down, Ilangoli. Come on, Carol, now we are talking. Hey, Carol, baby rider, Ilangoli. Hey, Carol, baby rider, Ilangoli. Then we low down, bed down, Ilangoli. Say we better mind you tumble down, Ilangoli. Hey, feeling hot, hot, hot. Hey, so feeling hot, hot, hot. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. All right. You know, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot, hot, hot. Now let me put it down this way. How many of you would like to see Sir Clive Saunders get up and shake a little bit? How many of you would like to see him get up? If you like to see him, let me see all the thumbs up. Come on. All the thumbs up. And if Clive is there, Clive, you're going to get up and everybody wants to see you dance.
because you're right. I've spent a whole week sitting down, so I need to get.
Well, we better cool it down before the whole room, because me know when the room are full of so many of you, you go and get up and start dancing, and you go and interrupt me whole show. Me no want if you steal me show. All right. You see, today I was up in Coventry. And while I was up in Coventry, I was launching an exhibition that I had been organizing and curating. And the exhibition was looking at Africa from way back before the coming of the Arabs, before the coming of Europeans. But looking at Africa, we looked at governance. What kind of governance did we have? We looked at spirituality. What kind of spirituality? We looked at architecture. We looked at military. And we looked at science and medicine. And in between, we looked at the messy bit, which we call the Middle Passage, slavery and everything else with that. Then we looked at the present. We looked at racism. We looked at everything in the present that is possible to look at. And then we left a space in the exhibition room, which was just blank. And that space was left for anybody who comes to the exhibition. After you've looked at what Africa was before, that we had a good governance system, or we had a governance system that was just as effective for us. And then architecture that was environmentally friendly, that was sustainable, which for many people who came to the exhibition, many were like, what do you mean environmentally sustainable? Well, the huts that we had and still have in many parts of Africa, if they break down today, they are all biodegradable.
Yeah.
But as we are running for what we call civilization, modernization, development, as we are running for it, you and I know many of our houses that we live in today, if that house is to fall apart and literally break down, it will poison the earth. If we go into, when we went to spirituality, and we looked at the way Africans honored every living thing, Africans honored every living thing, not because they were worshiping stones or worshiping trees, but that they recognized that in every single thing there is a being, and there is vibration, and there is the presence of the source of God in everything. And they recognized this. So for them, almost everything was sacred. So they lived in such a way whereby, because of that honor, because of that reverence that they had for everything that lives, the fish flourished, the forest flourished, the waters were everywhere, everything flourished. They lived in a way where they accepted death is just another transition for me to become something else. So with that, there was no fear of this transition. Now, when we looked at spirituality and then we moved on to science and medicine in this exhibition, we started realizing that herbs, leaves, were not just there just because people just thought, oh, let's just make some fever grass and leave it at that. We started realizing that ages ago, our people understood the power of herbs. And in the Bible, for those of us who are Christians, it's written there, isn't it? That the herbs is for us, it's to heal us, it's written there. But again, a whole change started happening and many of us ran away from it. But today today, you and I know we are talking of herbal medicines today. We are talking of coming back to ourselves through the herbal means. So this exhibition looked at, of course, the slave trade, and then looked at what's the future? How do we design the future for the young ones that are coming? How do we design it? Are we going to leave the young ones with no trees, poisoned water? And, how are we just going to leave it for them? So as I was going through the exhibition and I was thinking of tonight coming to you, I thought I want to share a story with you that is one of my favorite stories. But I want to share this story with you. Maybe as much as entertain us, it will inspire us. So when I say in, you tell me out. In.
Out.
Thank you very much. Only one person was listening. What's the matter with you? Joe, how relaxed are you like that? Joe, you're so relaxed.
We have to unmute.
So when I say in, you say out. In.
Out.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you to my village. In my village, we say Mborobena, and you answer Yakumpa, Yakampa, Yakpodo.
Oh. Yakumpa, Yakampa,
Yakpodo.
Dabodo.
Yes. So it means, so Umboro is a story. Kumpa is a spoon. Kampa is an elephant. Bodo is a bench, it's a chair. So I come, I say, Mborobena, a story for you all. And you say, okay, here's a spoon, here's an elephant, here's a chair. Now sit down and just get on with your story. Okay? So even with that, we have hospitality. So, Mborobena, Yakumpa, Yakampa, Yakpodo. Thank you for inviting me to tell you a story. There was, in this town, in this village, a strong man. Well, I call him a man, but he was strong, so strong that if anybody wants to prove that they are the toughest, that they are strong enough, they must go and wrestle with this man. And this man, his name was Sie Kotoro. Kotoro in my language means a lizard. Now, for those of you who may have come from hot climates, you may know what we call the agama lizard. And that's what we are referring to, the agama lizard. Sie Kotoro was strong. I mean, muscles everywhere, 12 pack. If anybody wanted to go and prove themselves, they must fight with Sie Kotoro. And if you can defeat Sie Kotoro, you'll be declared the strongest. But to meet Sie Kotoro, you don't just walk up and just say, let us wrestle. No. Sie Kotoro was addicted to one thing. Sie Kotoro loved to climb up a palm tree and drink palm wine. Now, I do not know how many of you have tasted palm wine. But when you drink palm wine, they say it is good. It gives you good eyesight. When you drink it, you begin to see everything in 6 and 4s. So, Sie Kotoro, he would climb up the palm tree to drink his palm wine. And it is said when he drinks his palm wine, he prefers to see everybody in 6 and 4s. That's when he gets his strength to fight. Hey, my people, it is not no reason you see I have the palm tree beside me here. It is to tell you that Sie Kotoro, he climbed this very palm tree that you see sitting next to me here. Me, I'm not lying. Marilyn was my witness. Marilyn was there. She saw Sie Kotoro. In fact, Anybody who wanted to fight Siekotoro would have to come to Marilyn. Marilyn was the wife of Siekotoro. If I am lying, ask Marilyn and she'll tell you that she was the wife. There's a reason why she left and she's here in England right now and not meeting Siekotoro anymore. But that's another story for another day. Well, the first one to come to Marilyn to come and test his strength was Kampa, the elephant. When Kampa came, he says, hey, he says, more Marilyn, I have come to wrestle with Siekotoro. And more Marilyn, she would not just call Siekotoro like I said, no. She has a way she calls Siekotoro. She will call like this. Siekotoro, Siekotoro, Indomana, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma. And that's your answer. Your answer is Kongo Mayere, Kongoma. That's your answer. Yes? All right. So Claire Davis, I hope so we'll get it. That's your answer. All right. Kongo Mayere, Kongoma. I want to hear everybody. Kongo Mayere, Kongoma. Thank you very much. Yes, that is the complete one. All right. So Siekotoro will go like this. Siekotoro, Indomana. That means someone is greeting you. Indomana. That is in a language called Limba, which is my language. Indomana. Someone is greeting you. Kongo Mayere Kongoma Mpankana. Who is it? Kongoma Mayere Kongoma Kampa. It is elephant. Kongoma Mayere Kongoma Tepeni. Tell him Kongoma Mayere Kongoma Gonkati. I am tapping the palm tree. Kongoma Mayere Kongoma Pagudu Pa. Now I am coming down the palm tree. Kongoma Mayere Kongoma Pagudu Pa. Kongoma Mayere Kongna Fu Berang. And it comes down. Now you know the song. So let us take it now with the song now. Siekotoro, Indomana, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Mpana, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Mpankana, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Mpakampa, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Mayere, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Konkati, Kongo Mayere, Kongoma Siekotoro came down and he met Kampa, the elephant, and they held on. And they started to wrestle. My people, where they wrestle, when they go, not bin kamalaude, bin sagat, 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 na fere, na jibin. Elephant, his back was on the ground. Hey! Elephant was not able to defeat Siekotoro. So Elephant ran away. And they're thinking, who is going to wrestle with Siekotoro? It did not take long that Dr. Mosun Fapo, the crocodile, came along. Dr. Mosun came as crocodile says, me, I am ready to wrestle with Siekotoro. And again, the wife Marilyn called out again, Siekotoro, Indomana, Kongo Mayere, Indomana, Kongo Mayere, Kongo Mayere, Kongo Mayere, Kongo Mayere, Kongo And hey, Dr. Mosu came down. When Dr. Mosu stood there, Dr. Mosu the crocodile, and Siekotoro looked at Dr. Mosu and said, hey, how can I wrestle this tough doctor? But nevertheless, they held on. Nak bin kamalaude bin seget bin kamalaude bin seget bin kamalaude bin seget nak bin kamalaude bin seget nak perem na jibin. Dr. Mosu was down. Dr. Mosu was not able to fight the fight. And everybody is thinking it was not long that Carol the cat came. Carol the cat came. And Carol, hello everybody. I am also going to fight. It was Marcia Johnson that looked at Carol the cat and said, you Carol, who do you think you are? Elephant has been. Lion has been. Even Dr. Moso the alligator has been. Who do you think you are? It's Clara, please, can you advise Claire? Can you advise this Carol the cat that she's, look at how tiny she is. But still, Clara the cat decided to go and try her luck. And again, the beautiful wife, Marilyn, called again. Sia kotoro, sia kotoro, Indomana, Congo Mayere. It did not take long before Sia Kotoro came down and looked out and saw this tiny, little, mingy Carol the cat. I said, look at you. You can't even talk properly. When you walk like that, your whole body. What is the problem with you? You want to wrestle with me. All the same, they held on. Nak bin kamalaude bin sagat bin kamalaude bin sagat bin kamalaude bin sagat nak bin kamalaude bin sagat na pere na sir na shroom. Carol the cat twisted up and landed on 4 feet. Hey, Sia Kotoro had never seen this before. She said, hey, what is this? And they held on again. Nak bin kamalaude bin sagat bin kamalaude bin sagat bin kamalaude bin sagat bin kamalaude bin sagat na pere na shroom na lobong. He landed again. What is this? And they fought. Every time they lifted cat up, cat will twist and land on the 4 legs. Every time they twist, land on 4 legs. Sia Kotoro had never seen this. Sia Kotoro got tired and ran away. And as Sia Kotoro ran away, Carol, the cat, chased Sia Kotoro. He says, come back here. We've not finished. Come, I'm ready for you. Well, if you live in Africa or in the Caribbean, you must have witnessed that when lizards see a cat, there's only one thing they do. They run away. And the cat is still chasing. Come back. The fight is not over yet. So what is to learn at this? In our greatest challenge, we discover our greatest strength. Right now, as a people, and I'm not even going to say black people, as a people, white, Chinese, whatever, we are facing major challenges in discovering our humanity. To discover our humanity. When we discover our humanity, racism will disappear. We will begin to appreciate all the wonderful history and the diverse cultures that we all share. That's a great challenge we face right now. And just like the George Floyd issue, where many people came together, different races all came together and said enough is enough. We are going to have to come together continuously like this, together, to say enough is enough. So that the under-19s cannot be playing football in a locked stadium simply because there's racism. Somehow, we're going to have to come together and face our greatest challenge and beat it, basically. And with that, I want to end my story with one very lovely song that I always love to sing in moments like this. We started in the Caribbean. We're going to end in the Caribbean. And I know Sir Clive will know this song. It goes something like this. They're trying their best to stop our progress with bad propaganda, like in the foreign press. Bad things are blown out proportion and spread all around. But the good things of Africa they will never mention. You know our sportsmen are rated amongst the best. There's nothing but that in the foreign press. You know our scholars have sat and passed every test. There's nothing but that in the foreign press. But if a man steals a mango or breeze blow up a woman's dress, bet your life we making headlines in the foreign press. True, true. Ba-de-be-da. Ba-be-de-be-da. Ba-be-de-be-da. Ba-be-da. Ba-be-de-be-da. We had a little wahala. The headline it got, I swear you think Africa was burning down. But I had to laugh when I look at what's the fuss about them making headlines in the foreign press. True, true. Hey, ba-de-be-da. Ba-be-de-be-da. Ba-be-de-be-de-be-ba. Ba-be-de-be-da. Now I want to take this last part, and this is where I want you to join me. It's gonna go like this. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. That's what I wanted to say. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. All the lovely buildings which show our progress. Let's go. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. All the lovely ladies wearing their beautiful dress. Let's go. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. Oh, our intelligent boys. Here we go. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. Oh, you know Nelson Mandela is rated amongst the best. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. Hey, you know Stephen Biko is rated amongst the best. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. I say, you know, Granny Nani is rated amongst the best. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. Oh, you know Stephen Biko amongst the best. We want them to write about that in the foreign. I say, you know, Clive Saunders is rated amongst the best. Oh, we want them to write about that in the. I say, you know, Claire Davis is rated amongst the best. We want them to write about that in the foreign. We want them to write about that in the foreign press. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you all so very much. I know you must have been sitting for quite a long time during the meeting, but I hope, you know, we all understand that this is such a crucial time for every one of us. And meetings like this that you're having, this is setting and laying the foundation for the betterment of the young ones that are coming after us. We are going to have to make those sacrifices. We are going to have to lay that necessary tool down for the young ones to pick up, for them to march ahead for a better world. And if anybody is going up to Coventry, or if you live near Coventry or anywhere like that, there's an exhibition going on there. It is called the Living Culture Exhibition. It is at a place called Waver Hall in Coventry. Waver, W-A-V-A Weaver Hall in Coventry. It's going to be running throughout the whole month. If you're up near that area, please visit the exhibition hall at Weaver Hall. I'll send the link to Clive, so maybe he can share it in your group for you all to see it if you wish to. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Usifu. Big hand. You can sort of unmute. You can unmute, you know, and give him
Please
clap.
tell us the name of his instrument.
Usifu.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that actually last time you were with us, you went through a few instruments. But what's the name of that one that you've got?
This is called Kongoma. Now, Kongoma is made out of a fruit. This is a fruit. I've just
Is that the gourd? But that looks very big compared to the ones I normally see.
Yes, it grows even bigger than this.
Hmm.
Yes, it grows much bigger than this. So yes, this is definitely a big boy. It grows much bigger than this. As I said, I've just B&Q'd it for it to carry a little bit more durability. But yes, that's what this is. And it is the Limba people in Sierra Leone. But we also find a similar instrument in Guinea, in Gambia, Ghana. They have the ones in a box as well, and they play it with the thumb. If you go to East Africa, you've got the mbira, which is a similar family of instruments. But yeah, it's just made with hacksaw blades, and we can tune it in any way we want, but just by shifting these the hacksaw blades up and down, and it gives you any tune you want. So
Who calls it the thumb piano?
yes, exactly. You'll see it as a thumb piano. So you're very correct. Because with the thumb piano, you do it. And now the thumb piano, we call it kondi. And that one, of course, you play it with the thumb. Hence, you have that. But this one is, you see, suddenly as soon as I move this, I've changed the tune altogether. So I can change it any way that I wish to. Okay. Now, of course, there's the djembe, which I play quite often as well. But kongoma is an instrument which is usually played to deliver sometimes political messages. But it's like calypso. When you play calypso and you have the little guitar and then they play and they'll sing songs that do social commentary and or political commentary, the kongoma is very much that kind of instrument. Yeah, that's what it is. It's one of my favorite instruments back home. And I want to say something here which I don't know what I think it'll be useful. Is that I'll be traveling to Sierra Leone in a few weeks' time to go and do a project being sponsored by Open University, and this project is on decolonizing peace education in Africa. Now they are asking me to go to do research on how our people in the provinces have used storytelling for conflict resolution. So in other words, the system that was being used before, which is a top-to-bottom approach to leave Europe or America, wherever, and then go over to Africa and say, let us come and show you how you can get peace. That system is not working. So now the next level is to look at, in other words, going back to say, well, how did we do it before? And we're going back to storytelling. For me, the more I do this, the more I am realizing our people say, why go and look for it in Sokoto when it's in your Shokoto? You see? So we tend to look for the answer outside, but it's actually all already inside. And this is what I'm going to do. But I'm also saying it to you, as all of you in your different professions, consider storytelling as a powerful tool to help your corporation, to help your organization, to help your children, your siblings, to help resolve conflicts, and to help share and energize ideas. storytelling. It's incredibly important. And even so, African storytelling is incredibly important for us to bring back to the table. I just wanted to share that with you for you to see where we're going with this art that I am doing here.
Usifu, thank you very much. I mean, it is extraordinary when you think about, in a sense, the complexity and the simplicity at the same time of what it is that you're about. And your final comments, they just brought me back to when I was growing up, because actually some of us may not have been born in Africa, but actually the African influence on our lives never diminish. So I can remember sitting down, all of us as children, at my grandmother's feet, and she would be telling us these Anansi stories, West African stories that had been transported to the Caribbean. And it was part of the way in which people sustain themselves by sharing those stories. And it was part of my and many other young people of my age, I should say, our upbringing. I think the sad thing is that we came here, and those of us who were brought up on the stories then, and I'm one of those, didn't actually then share those sorts of stories with the children. Well, I did it for a while actually, but then I didn't continue with that. And I think it's something that we need to reflect on. And it brings me back to the fact, before you came on, we had a bit of a storyteller that we have amongst us. I think you mentioned her because she was still here. I think she's left now, Enid Saunders. And she is one who has been writing stories and sharing stories. And actually, we have to go back to doing a bit more of those kinds of things too, because also part of charting and charting out some of our journey and where we have been, and kind of looking ahead to where we need to get to. I want to try and do a bit more of that, and I think that maybe is something that we need to build into how we move forward with our work here, to begin to kind of have some of those stories. As usual, of course, you did mention earlier on about being inspiring, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's been inspired. I looked around the room, those people had their cameras on, and I could see the smile on people's face. And actually, we are in difficult times, and being able to engage and to reflect, and sometimes to have the movement, particularly as we go into these cold times, was invigorating, inspiring, and of course, as always, educational from you. So thanks as always. I
think Carol wants to say something.
Yeah?
Carol
Yes.
wants to say something.
Can I ask? It's so. Sorry, I'm not getting your name right.
Usifu.
Usifu. Would it be possible at some point? He's gone.
No, he's still here.
I'm right here.
Would it be possible at some point to share with us the traditional way of resolving conflict in the local community, where groups, if there was an issue, groups would gather around, and led by the
chief,
the local chief. Could you help us at some point to recap that, and the, as I understand it, the democratic way where everybody had a chance to have their say? It wasn't just sort of handed down. Am I right in thinking that, or?
Yes, you are. I mean, if you, I mean, like I was talking about this exhibition today, and I talk about governance there.
Yeah.
Now, most times, many African governance systems were decentralized, and they were in small, communities. Even though they may belong to a bigger picture, but they're usually in small communities. And it means that, therefore, because it's in small communities, it therefore means that everybody is able to contribute and get their voices heard, because it's a smaller community. So everybody's story is very important. And I dare say, particularly the women's stories. They are very, very important. Now, then there's mechanisms to make sure this is so. When I grew up in my village, usually in the evenings, we gather together. Through this storytelling, like this one we've done here, we address certain social and family issues. But there is another level, and that is the level where we have conflicts between villages, where that kind of gathering is not for children, it's not for the elders. There's a different level of storytelling you do there. And those storytelling you do there is where you begin to drop what we might call proverbs.
Right, yeah.
You see? So nobody comes and tells you a story about Siakotoro climbing up a palm tree. No. That one is for the level of the children or just the family. But when you want to go to that level of now the chiefs and all the elders, you see somebody comes and say, hey, my people, you all know, when you see a toad jumping out in broad daylight, you know something is after its life. That's the kind of story. So a simple anecdote like that, everybody gets it. And it tells 1,000,001 stories. You know, or they'll tell you, hey, know yourself not to cause na good advice. To know yourself is not an insult, it's good advice.
Yeah.
You see? Or they will say to you, not put powder per condo. Do not put powder on a lizard. You're just wasting the powder. Don't put it. So don't waste your time, you know, so that's the level of storytelling that will happen on those areas. And those kind of anecdotes carry so much more weight. Because that's where now, if you were to go to court or even in parliament, you find people who know how to speak very well in parliament and they speak eloquently. That's the level we're talking about. They speak persuasively. So they'll use stories like this, anecdotes like that carry immense stories on it. And that helps to resolve issues. You see? So you're not told, no, don't do this. They will give you a parable, anecdote. It's down to you now to go and work it out.
I mean, it's interesting how, again, just coming back to the Caribbean connection, because I think those of us who were brought up in the Caribbean would have been brought up with some of those stories based on some of those kinds of proverbs. For example, the one that says, one hand can't clap. You know, I mean, you think, well, what's the meaning of that? Why are you telling me that? Why would you be saying something like that? What's the relevance of it? And again, those are all built into some of the things that we would be able to explore back in the day. But I think we have not really utilized that kind of legacy and carried it forward as much as maybe we should, and probably we should be looking at doing that again. I think it may be something we need to talk to Usifu about, whether we may have some people locally that might be interested in doing a bit more work around that kind of thing.
I think that would be very beneficial.
Yes, because I think, as I say, big things come in little packages, and that's what our people do. They wrap a huge thing in just a little package, little sentence, but it carries a lot of meaning. So I think we definitely do have to begin to look back into the wisdom that our people had. We do have to understand that our people have lived on this planet Earth longer than probably any other
indeed.
humans.
Indeed.
So there is a lot of wisdom that they do have. There's a lot of things that they know. And so we got to try not to lose those. I mean, I'm fighting that at the moment. I'm going home to try to make sure we archive a lot of things so that we don't lose them. Because if we lose them, I believe that we'll do ourselves and our children a great disservice.
And I think, unfortunately, what has happened, we've kind of cotton on to the idea that the Western ways are somehow superior to our ways,
Well, it's what
which
we
of
were
course
taught.
has been a very destructive movement. Which come back to your environmental stuff that you were talking about earlier on.
Just to say about small packages, when I do my story, I'm doing one in a couple of weeks and I was designing it today. It centers around the power of storytelling. I'm going to be using these cards here. They're called Things Mama Used to Say. And I picked one at random. And I don't know if you can read what that says, but basically they have the Caribbean saying on one side, and then on the other side, it tells you the meaning. So about don't waste powder on back of the bud, and don't waste your time developing bad relationships. Don't try to change people. So it's a whole deck of cards. I've probably had these for a good 10 years or so now. But I use those for that very purpose in terms of bringing forth some of that wisdom to people who, and I, use them. I say to people, pick a card, and they always pick something that's right for them. So I absolutely love that. And yeah, there's so much mileage in that as an approach and an idea. So definitely one to look at, I think, for the future. Thank you. It was a great session. I've loved it.
Okay. Any other observations before we say bye-bye to Usifu? Are you traveling tomorrow? Because I think you still traveling tomorrow or not, Usifu?
No, I had to postpone it to I think the 22nd of this month now, just because Greenwich Maritime Museum asking me to do something to them. Now, this is another interesting angle as well. They're asking me to do a project to kind of like bring the objects alive, but to train their staff to look at the objects that they have, exhibits that they have, and figure out new ways of telling the stories of those objects. So I'm going to have to stay for a week or two to do that project before I go. And then once I go, I probably won't be back until sometime next year.
Great. Well, of course, the power of technology, the one good thing that maybe is that you may be far, but you'll be near.
I mean, I'll be so glad to be able to do anything with you guys while I am there. So you just see the background and I'm just there with the people and just give you that kind of feel. I'll be incredibly happy to include all of them.
Goodbye, Caroline.
No, I wasn't saying bye. I was just hoping to get one more question from Usifu.
All right, okay.
Okay.
At one point, sorry, I know Usifu was due to travel tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to say we've got to let him go. But
okay, this will be the last one. Promise. Usifu.
Yes.
You've heard or probably know of oh gosh, he's gone from me. Aesop and his fables.
Aesop.
Yeah.
Aesop fables. Yeah.
Yeah. He was actually African, but he died in a place called Phrygia in Greece. Do you use any of his
fables?
His fables? Do you know of any?
Very good question. I have read quite a lot of his fables. I have deliberately not necessarily shared them, and I use, and I'm speaking very, clearly, very deliberately not to. Not because they're not good, by the way, because they're all absolutely wonderful stuff that this guy wrote together. But I feel like I have so much.
That's fair enough.
My own culture that I want to share. So I mean, goodness knows, as I sit here right now, we could sit here till tomorrow morning and I'll tell you stories and I'll never repeat a story.
I only ask you because he was African, although people are not taught that he was. I don't know where he was from, but I know he died he was killed. He didn't just die, he was killed in Greece.
Wow.
So that's why I ask you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what you say, Usifu, because when I remember the storytelling, but it's almost like you kind of start off and you'd be on a journey and you'll maybe take a detour and you go somewhere else, and because actually it's the way you're feeling at that time and the different things that just comes in to your mind. So when you do it next time, the situation will be different, and although it might be the same theme, you'd be traveling in a different kind of way. And I think that so your storytelling almost takes me back to those days when we used to have those stories being told. and you kind of think, where did that person get a story from? But it was kind of almost instant design, for want of a better word. You are actually, my grandmother, just to use her as an example, I didn't realize it, but she was a storyteller. She would, to us children, she would be telling us these stories. And actually, you hear part of the same story from someone else, but it'll be different because actually it's people's interpretation.
Favour's hand is up, Clive.
Favour.
Marilyn, sorry.
Thank you so much, Masha. And yeah, thank you so much, Yusuf. It's been quite entertaining and also educative. I just wanted to, I find it quite fascinating, the idea of storytelling. Africans, we are storytellers, all of us. And particularly, I'm from the east of Nigeria. We are known storytellers. Chinua Achebe's Falapada is quite popular, and all the Chimamanda story and all that. Our story, you know, those things are all stories, and all storytellers. And it's kind of, I grew up in that culture where you sit down in the evening and tell stories till midnight. And like we said, Yusuf, you know, my mom will never repeat a story for a month. There's always one story or the other. So I'm just wondering, in terms of preserving our culture, where we are now, and Clive has always spoken a lot about engaging the younger generation. I'm just wondering whether there is something we can pass on to them as, you know, in form of storytelling, because it's quite captivating, you know, for young people to hear some stories from the older generation. Whether it's something we can look into as a project, because if you look at our population in Watford, so some of our older population are gradually, you know, getting quite old, and we don't want to lose some of their stories that are really, really fascinating. Their journeys, you know, in migration, their experiences will be quite fascinating to the younger generation. So we might be actually doing ourselves disservice if we are not really engaging the younger generation in storytelling from this aspect of our lives, not just from, you know, where we came from, but the journey of the people that came before us to where we are now.
A Favour is a really good point. And, you know, we had this idea of an intergenerational project at some point in the past. And as we've been having this chat, what occurred to me is that subject to being able to find a way of doing it, it may be that we should be looking at how we re-engage into that kind of intergenerational kind of work as a way potentially of engaging the younger generation. And if we think about storytelling, then in a way, if we can find a way of bringing people together around, so we say, for example, we were to say we want to have a project looking at storytelling. So that means that some of the older people could bring in their memories. The younger people could also be, maybe they might find that something that they might want to engage with, because of course, you know, things like rapping and all those kinds of things is storytelling in a different form. So it's about kind of trying to pull these things together, because we do want to engage the young people. How do we do it? And if that's a hook that we can sort of, I mean, of course, there's a rationale within it itself anyway, because it's about sort of maintaining a bit of tradition, but it's also potentially might be a hook to engage the young people in a way that we've not really been able to engage. Is Khadija still with us?
So she went a while ago, and I'd say it's probably time to start wrapping it up. I think we've kept people long enough, but I'd say with that conversation we've just been having, that's another one to go on the list.
Well, can we get Perlin? Perlin wants to say something. Perlin McFarlane wants to say something quickly. She's been very quiet and patient.
No, I was just going to say to Clive, if you remember in the day, I don't know if you were in Watford then, in the 80s, early 90s, Madeline Lake, used to, Mrs. Lusak and I, through Madeline Lake, used to go to the primary school and tell stories of, and Mrs. Lusak was a very good storyteller. But we used to go to the primary school and tell stories of, you know, where we come from and things, because at the time there were lots of children coming from the West Indies and Africa, and there was not a lot of misunderstanding about them. So she got us, and I had visited a number of schools in Watford, but they were primary school, and would be telling them stories about, you know, going to school in Jamaica and Anansi's story, and, you know, that's so it happened, but then all these things phases out, you know. And
well, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but Mrs. Lusak came to the supplementary school a few times. Do you remember, Clive?
She did, yes. She was a good storyteller.
Yeah.
But do you know, we have, I think one of the things that, I'm just going to be very quick, and so we can, I know we got to go, but I just want to say that one thing that we are missing for us to keep this continuity, because the continuity is what's important here. It's the right agents, whether it's African people, Black people, as agents that are dedicated to pushing forward artists or talented people who want to go ahead to do the storytelling and the arts per se. There's a lady in Watford, Diana, for example, with the Maasai cultural art.
She was with us earlier on. In fact, actually, she's on this call, but she's not said anything.
Okay, all right, okay.
I can hear you. Hi.
Oh,
That's okay.
She's there. All right, okay. All right, okay. All right. Oh, well, there you go. Talk of the angel. There she is. Okay. But yeah, Diana does. You know, I mean, I've been working with Diana for the past how many years now? 3, 4 years, going 5 years now. And you know, we work together very, very well. And I think somebody like her we need. Somebody like her who's able to draw the kind of resources as well that we need, that as a storyteller like myself need to go into the schools. So that combination is important. So within the organization or anywhere, if we are able to draw this together, and Clive, you call me to come here all the time, and that kind of synergy is important. You know, as an artist, I am there, wherever. But sometimes we need that central person that knows how to pull all of those ropes together in order to engage the artist. If we can get that, I think we'll go a very, very, very long way in maintaining
on that very positive note of the future. Can I thank you again, everybody? It's been this was supposed to end an hour ago, and we're still here. So thank you very much, Usifu, as always. Thanks to everybody, and have a good evening, have a good rest of the weekend, and we will get the ball rolling for the rest of the program next week. Yeah, let's leave it at that. I'm still recording. I should stop. Let's stop recording.